have seen it before at the back of a thrift store shelf, marked down to $7.99 because the color is wrong. Not black, orange, a skin of rust from handle to rim, and a paper sticker that says as is. Most people walk past it. I have never once walked past it. In the town of Morioka, in the north of Japan, the craftsmen who have made Nambu Ironware for 400 years will tell you the same thing I learned from my Oba-chan 60 years ago. A rusted pan is not a ruined pan. It is a pan that has been waiting. And in less than 1 hour of work and under $8, that orange skin comes off completely, and underneath it is iron that will outlive you. You do not need a shop trip or anything harsh for this. No wire brush, no chemical rust remover that stings the eyes. What lifts this rust is already in your kitchen, a potato and the salt in your cupboard. That is the whole first step, and yes, it truly works, even on rust this bad. My name is Maya Sato. I am 58 years old, and in my kitchen in Nagano there is a black iron pan that belonged to my mother-in-law and to her mother before that. It has cooked breakfast in this house through 3 generations of women, and it has never once been thrown away. There are only a few things at work here: the potato and salt that pull the rust away, steel wool for 1 or 2 stubborn corners, the oven that dries the iron completely, and one right oil, baked in, over and over, until gray turns black and smooth. Do this one Sunday afternoon for less than the price of a single nonstick pan at the shop, and that thrift store find will outlast every pan you ever buy new. This is one small piece of how I keep a kitchen, out of the whole of it, gathered in one place in La Biblioteca di Maya, if you ever want all of what I do. Not just one pan. It is below this video. The same link sits at the top of the comments. And there is a small square on the screen now. Hold your phone up to it. That is for those who want it. I will not mention it again. Now here is what most people get wrong. They believe rust means the iron itself is damaged, eaten through, unusable. It is not. Rust is only the surface of the iron reacting with the air and the damp. Underneath it, the metal is completely whole. You are not repairing this pan. You are only uncovering it. So the first thing, the potato and the coarse salt. Choose a large potato, one you can hold firmly in your hand, and cut it in half. Pour 3 level tablespoons of coarse kosher salt directly onto the dry rust, about the amount that covers the bottom of the pan in a thin, even layer, roughly the size of a small handful. Take the cut face of the potato and press it into the salt, and begin scrubbing in circles with real pressure. Potatoes carry a natural acid in their juice, and where that acid meets rust, it begins to loosen it, grain by grain. You will feel the salt change under your hand, from dry and sharp to a wet, gritty paste. Within 2 or 3 minutes of steady scrubbing, that paste turns the color of wet sand, a rust brown, and that color is the sign that it is working. When the paste turns that color, wipe it away with a cloth. Add a fresh 3 tablespoons of salt, and scrub again. Do this over the whole pan, the bottom, the sides, up under the lip, around the handle, because any patch of rust left behind will spread again once the pan is wet. My Oba-chan did this at her own sink every spring, before the humid season came up through the floorboards of our house, and I have never once needed a shop-bought rust remover since. You will know you are finished when the metal underneath is gray and bright, not orange, not brown, but the true dull silver of bare cast iron. This is not so different from what the ironware workshops in Morioka do, with a brand new pan before it ever leaves the workshop. Every Nambu teki pan is dried completely over heat and coated in oil again and again before it is sold, because raw cast iron rusts within hours of contact with damp air. A thrift store pan simply needs the rust taken back off first. The seasoning that follows, oil baked into hot iron until it turns black, is the exact same process, whether it happens in a workshop in Iwate or on your own kitchen counter. If one corner refuses, usually the inside edge near the handle, where rust sits deepest, take a single pad of plain steel wool, no soap added, and work that one spot only for perhaps 30 seconds. You do not need it anywhere else. The potato and salt do the rest. The companies that sell you a new nonstick pan every year would very much prefer you never learn this. Rust is not their enemy. Rust is only inconvenient for their business. Once every trace of orange is gone, rinse the pan completely under running water and dry it at once with a towel. You may see the towel come away streaked with gray and black, and that is only iron dust, nothing to worry over. Then heat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, 232 degrees Celsius, and set the pan inside, empty, for about 5 minutes. This is not cooking. It is only pulling the last of the moisture out of the metal from deep in the pores of the iron where a towel cannot reach. Iron left even slightly damp will begin rusting again within hours. Take it out with a heavy oven glove. It will be very hot, and let it rest on a baking sheet for 5 minutes before you touch the surface with bare skin. Now the oil, and this matters more than any other step. Choose one with a high smoke point. I use avocado oil, though grapeseed works as well, never butter, never olive oil. They will turn bitter and sticky in this heat. Pour out about 1 level teaspoon, roughly the size of a coin in your palm, onto a folded paper towel and work it over every surface of the pan. The cooking face, the sides, the underside, the handle, every crack where the metal meets itself. Then with a second clean dry paper towel, wipe the entire pan again, hard, until it looks almost dry. This second wipe is the part people skip, and it is the one that matters most. A pan going into the oven wet with oil will come out sticky and gummed, never smooth. You want a film so thin it looks like almost nothing is there at all. But if you press a fingertip to the surface, the faintest trace of oil should still come away on your skin. That trace is enough. Anything heavier turns gummy in the heat instead of hard and smooth. A nonstick pan coated at the factory is built to fail within a year or two of daily use. That is not an accident. That is the business, $8 or $10 or $15 again, every time it wears through. A cast iron pan seasoned this way, with your own hands, does not wear through. It only gets better. But the part that surprised even my own neighbors when I first showed them is not the first time you do this. It is the third. Slide the pan upside down into that same 450-degree oven with a baking sheet on the rack beneath it to catch any drip, and let it bake for 30 full minutes. When the time is up, let the pan cool completely on its own. Do not add more oil while it is still hot. The oil will smoke instead of soaking in, and you will damage the very coating you are trying to build. Once it is fully cool, wipe on another thin coat exactly the same way. 1 level teaspoon, wiped twice, and bake it again, 30 minutes. Do this whole cycle 3 to 5 times. By the third round, the surface stops looking gray and starts looking black. almost wet like lacquer. That black is not paint, and it is not coating from a factory. It is oil baked into the iron itself, layer over layer, the same way Nambu Ironware has been finished in Morioka for 400 years. So let me say the whole thing once more, slowly, to write down. 1 potato halved, 3 level tablespoons of coarse kosher salt per batch, reapplied until the paste turns rust brown. 1 pad of plain steel wool for stubborn spots only. Oven at 450 Fahrenheit, 232 Celsius. 5 minutes to dry the rinsed pan, then 30 minutes per seasoning bake, upside down. 1 level teaspoon of a high smoke point oil, avocado or grapeseed, wiped on, then wiped off with a second dry cloth. 3 to 5 full cycles, cooling fully between each. That is the entire method. By Sunday evening, that $7 pan sits on your stove black and smooth, and an egg slides off it onto the plate for under $10 total ever again. Tell me what you rescued this week and how old it was. I read every one. Next time, the one thing in my kitchen that has kept every knife in this house sharp for 30 years, using only a stone and a bowl of water. And it is not what you think. Until next time, waste nothing and take care of your home, and it will take care of you.